Good morning, students. Let us start next topic of module 2. As I mentioned earlier that there are 3 topics in module 2 and this is the last topic. The name of the topic is economic effects of taxation. The question can be explain the economic effects of taxation. So how you have to write the answers, that I'll explain it to you. Now effects on income and wealth, that we will discuss first. Taxation has both favorable and unfavorable effects on the distribution of income and wealth. Whether taxes reduce or increase income inequality depends on the nature of the taxes. A steeply progressive taxation reduces income inequality, but the burden of such taxes falls heavily on the rich people. A regressive tax system increases the income inequality. Of course, taxes imposed heavily on luxuries and non-essential goods tend to have a favorable impact on income distribution. But taxes imposed on necessary articles may have regressive effect on income distribution. Let us see what are the effects on consumption. When taxes increases, it reduces the consumption by affecting the taxpayers into 2 ways. Number 1, income effect on taxation. The tax reduces the purchasing power or the real income of taxpayer. Second, substitution effect of taxation. The tax creates an incentive for the taxpayer to substitute less preferred but untaxed or lower tax goods in place of more preferred tax goods. Second, when a tax influences allocation of resources of individuals, every individual has limited money income and allocates it in different uses. Taxation affects their allocation directly or indirectly. For example, the income tax reduces the money income of the consumer and forces him to buy the smaller volume of goods, and it reduces the standard of living of the consumers. Third point, effects of taxation on consumption during inflation and depression. During the time of inflation, the purchasing power of people is reduced by a raise in the rates of existing taxes or imposition of new taxes. During the time of depression, taxation may be reduced as a result of reduction on direct taxes. The people will have more disposable income and higher purchasing power, and a decrease in indirect taxes leads to the reduction of selling prices. Next, regulatory effect on taxation on consumption. Taxation may be used to regulate production and consumption. Consumption can be regulated by taxing the production and use of certain commodities. For example, the objective of some taxes may to be reduce the consumption of certain harmful commodities such as alcohol, cigarettes, etc. So these are the effects on consumption. Next, effects on savings, investment and production. They can be into 3 types: effects on ability to work, save and invest, then effects on willingness to work, save and invest, and effects on allocation of resources. So one by one we will discuss. Number 1, effects on ability to work, save and invest. Imposition of taxes results in the reduction of disposable income of the taxpayer. This will reduce the expenditure on necessities which are required to be consumed for the sake of improving efficiency. As the expenditure on the necessaries suffers, the ability to work declines. This adversely affects saving and investment. So, all taxes adversely affect the ability to save. But we can say that not all taxes, however, have adverse effects on the ability to work. There are some harmful goods such as cigarettes, alcohol, whose consumption has to be reduced to increase the ability to work. That is why high rate of taxes are often imposed on such harmful goods for reducing their consumption. Rich people save more than poor, and progressive rate of taxation reduces the savings potentially. This means low level of investment, lower rate of investment negatively affects the economic growth of the country. This is what you have to write under this point. Second point is effects on willingness to work, save and invest. Effects of taxation on willingness to work, save and invest are partly the result of money burden of tax and partly the result of psychological burden of tax. Taxpayers have a feeling that every tax is a burden. This psychological state of mind of the taxpayer has a disincentive effect on the willingness to work. They feel that it is not worth taking extra responsibility or putting in more hours because so much of extra income would be taken away by the government in the form of taxes. However, if the taxpayers want to maintain their existing standard of living, they may not only continue to work in the midst of the payment of large taxes, they might put in extra efforts to make up for their income lost in the tax. So there can be both the possibilities. Third point, effects on allocation of resources. By diverting resources to the desired directions, taxation can influence the volume or the size of production. There can be beneficial effects on production also. High taxation on harmful drugs and commodities will reduce their consumption. This will discourage the production of these commodities, and the scarce resources can be diverted from this production to other products which are useful for the economic growth. But there are some taxes which may produce some unfavorable effects on production. Taxes imposed on certain useful products may divert resources from one region to another. Such unhealthy diversion may cause reduction of consumption and production of these products. So these are the effects on savings, investment and production. Students, the one question in this topic is discuss the economic effects of taxation, and in that you have to explain the effects on consumption and the effects on savings, investment and production. And all the points you have to cover in this question. Here our second module is over. Thank you very much.